Hello everybody. Welcome to Wicked Game. It is Wicked Wednesday, everybody, which means we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're playing the Lighthouse of Eisodos. I'm Lydia. Next to me is a blank screen. Who knows who that is? Then there's Michelle and Tom.
Hey, we're here.
Yay! Listen, we've got so much to get through tonight that I'm gonna just whiz through the announcements. Woohoo! Whiz. So first up, as always, we just love our mods, Rooney Runes, Automatic Flash, Sweet Poison. We truly appreciate you, not just in chat, but we appreciate you in the Discord. You guys, you're doing the whole Pantheon's work. Next up, tomorrow, Dragon Age from 3. Join us, Michelle and I. We are working our way through the Winter Palace, and honestly, not a great start. So
going terribly.
we got some making up to do.
I'm so excited to see what route you take. It's going to be so exciting.
And you know, the second episode of Wicked Slice is out. So if you haven't already, hop on over to Dice and a Slice, wherever you get your podcasts. It's good. It's some good hit. So enjoy yourself with that. Also, some other heroes continue with their 2 incredible adventures. One is tell me if I'm getting this wrong. One is every other Sunday, and the next one is actually Sunday after next, and the other is every other Tuesday. The next one being next Tuesday.
Correct.
Smashed it, mate.
Smashed it. Cool. So we highly recommend all of that shit. When I say shit, it is that is a praise. That is not. Anyway.
All of that shit.
The immediate panic in your face.
Yes. Yeah, I realise some people don't like being called shit.
Shit.
So, without further ado, let me go into previously on the Lighthouse of Eisodos. So, after ridding the island of a cult of Saugin, our 3 lighthouse keepers recuperated on the island. And by recuperated, I of course mean that Cece got to know her mysterious patron as they healed. Mav was plagued by terrible dreams of the man that's caged and starving under the lighthouse, as well as finding his books, but now credited to somebody else. Mysteries abound. And Elle was investigating. The music is very jolly. Tell us what the levels of the music are for everybody, see if everyone's happy with them. But Elle was investigating the man who is the elf who's been trying to kill him, you know, persistently trying to kill him for quite a while now. They sought out the hermit priest for assistance with a lot of different things. And not only was Elska not at all interested in helping, but she nearly killed them all in what is probably the most terrifying version of Get Off My Lawn anyone has ever seen. Later that day, while the others were in bed, Elle discovered that the assassin was trying to kill his beloved companion, Jaques. There was a sort of one-sided fight where the pacifist Elle decided to heal his friend, and he was murdered by the assassin. Cece and Mav tried to appeal to Elska, the priestess, and she very brutally said no. And that is about all of it, briefly. So, please do roll the thing.
Roll.
Welcome to the Iridian Empire. This sprawling land is led by Emperor Julian II.
You do not find us in the hustle and bustle of Iridian cities, with the push and pull of politics and law and order, nor in the dusty plains with the whispered prayers from farmers' lips, nor the treacherous Sierras. You do not find us in the northern jungles, the eastern deserts, or the southern wilds. Today, you find us in the westernmost part of the Iridian Empire. If you were to dust off a very particular and long-forgotten history book, you might read about a powerful arcanist who commanded the very seabed to rise up and form itself into a cluster of idyllic islands as a gift to his beloved and first emperor of Iridia. On the northernmost bluff of these islands, a lighthouse was formed from stone and crystal, a beautiful beacon to all that enter the Empire's waters, reminding them that they are now embraced by the borders of the greatest civilization that has ever been. These islands were named Eisodos din Iridia, or the Mouth of Iridia, but most people just called it Eisodos. Every year a new community was curated to care for the lighthouse and the islands, a dozen or two people that would bask in the paradise of this constructed archipelago. Their only law was that the light must never go out. Your history book might tell you this, and it might even tell you of the rumours of those that returned from the islands blessed and changed. But those are just bard songs and tittle-tattle, and only a fool would take them at face value. For now the year is Epoch of Julian 26, and you could count on one set of hands the people that knew of Eisodos. The centuries have slowly worn the memory of this place from people's minds like etched writing on a lichen-covered tombstone. Each year, fewer and fewer people came to the island, and those employed to recruit found themselves hardly caring, and so we find only 3 caretakers brought for the task. Only 3 lighthouse keepers to farm and maintain and live on Eisodos for a full year. El is a wood elf, with peaceful eyes and a great attachment to his friend Jaques, a crab he saved from a trap. El took this job for his crustacean friend as a treat away from the hubbub of towns and cities. Then there's the beautiful half-elf known as Cece, full of wit and vivacity. It wasn't long ago that she was addressed as Lady Cecilia Arcavia. If you asked her, she might find it hard to explain how she got here, or what happened that day on the ship when she was saved from the brink of death by a mysterious being. And finally, Maverick Spells, known by many as Mav. The dazzling and renowned author has many volumes to his name that could raise your pulse and bring a flush to your cheek. He tells himself he's on a grand writer's retreat, but sometimes Maverick is not completely honest with himself. There is talk of an elderly hermit that wanders a dilapidated temple, a permanent member of the island thought to be a worshipper of Tyrsh, the god of tempests. Our lighthouse keepers cannot yet know what the island has in store for them. They only know that they've been promised paradise and a year away from their lives that, for whatever reason, they left behind. Welcome to Wicked Games, the Lighthouse of Eisodos.
And we're back.
So, it is still dark. The rain softly falls, as it has been doing for a while now. And there is too much cloud cover for anyone on the island to see the pinking that dawn might bring to the sky. You have carried Elle's body back to the homestead, and as you approach, you see the form of Joltush walking around the corner of the homestead, walking on his tentacles upright, nearly, pretty much actually over 10 feet pool and approaches. Cecilia, what happened? I heard your call.
Cece just like gestures. Are we carrying Elle together?
You will be, because it was Big Mav, but you talked about Mav reducing size again.
Yeah. Someone attacked him. And we don't know what to do.
He comes forward to indicate that he can, like, take him from you, so that you don't have to be like one person either end of him. He can carry him on his own. I'm so sorry, Cecilia. What? And he at a sort of loss to know what to say, he turns and carries him in and lays him by the well. You know, he sort of stoops to go in through the door and lays him by the well in the center of the homestead. And turns and looks down at you. How can I help?
Can you bring him back?
I have no healing abilities. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Did you ask Elska?
Yeah. She said he's not worthy. And I don't think that's really fair, because I don't think she really knew Elle, and I don't think she really should get to be the person that decides that sort of shit, you know?
Would you like me to appeal to Elska? I have never known her to change her mind, but I've also never tried to change her mind.
I mean, you can try, but
I know that she, in all the years that I have lived here, she has never involved herself in the business of the Islanders. She says she does not like to go against the island's wishes. But I could ask.
maybe, I mean, it's worth a shot, but also, how much do you know about this island? Do you know, I know she saved you, but there's something off about that woman. I think she's keeping a man trapped underneath the lighthouse.
How do you know about him?
Who is he?
I don't know. She has never answered my questions on him, and she rarely talks to me. I'm simply grateful for the life that she gave me here.
Okay. Well, before all of this happened, we were gonna go try and find him. I don't my thought is Elska's much more powerful than she looks. She rescued you. Whatever she's hiding, whoever she's hiding, must also be powerful. Maybe they're powerful enough to save Elle.
I would say that is a sound deduction. But, Cecilia, I cannot aid you in betraying Elska.
Okay.
I want to help you in any way I can, but...
Then will you ask her in the morning? Will you ask her if she'll change her mind?
I will do this. In the morning, I will visit Elska, and I will talk to her on the subject. This might be a good time for you to look for the man. That is as much as I can do.
I appreciate that. I wasn't going to tell you that we were going in case you felt like that was overstepping your friendship too much. But thank you.
I'm so sorry I cannot do more.
It's okay.
Sleep well.
Thank you. Before you go, is there anything you can do? Like, I don't know. I've heard talk of like preserving bodies and stuff in these situations.
Cecilia, all of my abilities drain life and hurt people. I would not want to inflict my powers on him in case I made it worse. I am a being of despair.
Oh. Well, I don't think you're a being of despair at all. I've never felt despair around you at all. Except from, when you were like unconscious and stuff, but that wasn't really your doing.
He smiles at you. He runs the back of his hand over your cheek. And he goes to leave, turning only briefly to give a nod to Mav. Kind of little bow.
I think in the time it took for this conversation to happen, Mav has kind of Mav went up to one of the rooms that isn't being occupied and has come back with he's been making like a sort of jerkin for Elle over the course of our sort of time. Out of Hessian, obviously, but it's been he's sort of slowly dyed it green using sort of the algae and the sort of seaweed that is sort of he's found in rock pools and things. He's sort of fashioned it like almost like a sort of Peter Pan-esque kind of leaf pattern with sort of like the flows and he's kind of taken the. Were there arrows still sticking in Elle?
Yes.
So he's taken the arrows out. He's prestidigitated the body, and he's sort of taken the blood-stained shirt off and has kind of dressed him back up in this kind of this jerkin. Left the matching little waistcoat for little bolero jacket type thing that he was working on for Jaques upstairs, but and he
put a jacket on a crab.
mad.
You just lay it on.
And yeah, goes to prestidigitate the arrows, but sort of takes the bloody and torn shirt, wraps the two arrows sort of in. First of all, looks at the arrows and sort of sees what kind of arrows these are, whether they're just normal kind of the kind that that El has been making throughout his time here with the goose feathers, or whether it's something more.
Roll investigation.
Why not? Oh shit, Lydia, that's a 26.
They are not special. But with a 26, I think you would perhaps recognize that they are made with the turkey feathers of the local turkeys. And yeah, they are well made.
Yeah.
You're kind of impressed by them. Not that you're a master Fletcher of any kind, but you're like, you know what an arrow looks like when it's just made with a knife, and this looks
okay.
Well made.
Yeah, so that's kind of what he's been up to. He sort of puts, I assume, when they found him, the sort of hat was somewhere close to the body, and he takes it and just sort of pops it over Elle's face as a sign of respect, and just kind of sits and like sort of kneeling next to the body, just kind of overhearing the last bits of conversation that have been happening. And yeah, as you say, as Jodish leaves, he kind of bows his head back and looks at Cece. He goes, sounds like a silly question to ask, but how are you doing?
I don't really know. Doesn't seem real yet, and I'm scared if I stop it will. How are you doing?
Yeah. This is, well, frankly, it's bullshit. Seems unfair, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't want you to take this the wrong way because it's not a proposition. But can we sleep in the same bed tonight?
My darling, even if it were a proposition, I don't think I'm in the mood. Yes, of course.
Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, I say we and while we're having this conversation, Cece is like slowly like doing that thing like when you're packing and getting ready and like being like right, we'll want this, and like laying on the table and like, okay, let's find those potions, and she's doing all that sort of stuff. Like, okay, we'll pack a bag, we'll get ready, and then first thing in the morning we're gonna go find this man.
Yes. Yes. Do you know? Do you know where El's God's shrine is? Would it be worth propositioning them? I'm not really one for gods.
Me neither, if I'm honest. I reached out to Joltish and I tried praying to Av too to see if they'd hear me, but I don't really know. I hope that El's with the Swift Maiden right now, though.
Riding down the lazy river of eternity. Fucking hell, I need to write that down.
Yeah, alright, you... Yeah, maybe you can make it a plot in this book you're writing.
Yes, well. Let's rest. Make sure that we're ready for whatever it is that happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sort of gets up and does the old man kind of stiffening of legs and just sort of shaking out the stiffness. And kind of puts his arm on his hand on your sort of arm and kind of gives you that kind of the father figure squeak pat kind of combo of someone who doesn't really know exactly what to say and pops up. I'm assuming to your room.
Yeah, wherever.
Mav doesn't want to be anywhere near that flower right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Come in. You know, I hope, if we make it out alive and we make it home, I don't think any of the girls are going to believe me when I tell them that I slept in the same bed as Maverick Spells.
Yes, well, if it's any consolation, I don't think anyone is ever going to believe me anything that I say ever again.
Oh.
But that's something to talk about at a later time.
Yeah, is that enough? Do you want to unpack that now, or shall we deal with one trauma at a time?
I feel like one trauma at a time is enough.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yes.
Okay.
I feel like just for a second that was players talking to DM. One trauma at a time.
Yeah. Let's deal with this one first, Lydia.
Having said that, Mav, as you fall asleep, do you think big spoon or little spoon?
Little spoon, of course.
Yeah, it's easier with big spoon.
With just Cece's outrageous hair tickling your face, probably. You fall into a deep sleep. And you are shown an image in your dream. And the image is the man from the lighthouse. And he is kneeling over the body of El with his palm pressed to his forehead with tenderness. And you see energy flowing through that hand into the body of El. It feels like love, feels like a kiss, the way his hand is on El's forehead, and El is revived. And you wake. Not sweaty and perturbed. There is no book. It's just a simple image.
As soon as I wake up, I am just kind of in blind hope, Lydia, he kind of untangles from what I can only assume to be the messiest sleepers, two of the messiest sleepers around.
Yeah.
Used to having their own enormous beds, kind of like untangles himself and kind of steps up and runs to the balcony above the courtyard and sort of like a kid at Christmas, just kind of looks over the balcony and sort of down at the body of Elle.
In that moment, you feel so sure that you are going to see Elle in the way that he always was. Went to bed after you, rose before you, always seemed to have his day worked out, but before you even could get your mind on coffee. And you almost imagine that you're going to see him busying himself getting ready for the day. And what you see is that still form with his hat over his face.
Getting swiftly over that, the crushing disappointment of that, Lydia, he sort of looks down for a moment longer and looks back in towards the room that he's just left and kind of goes about actually gets up at the crack of dawn, unlike every single other day he's been on the island, and sort of he kind of quietly closes the door to Elle's room, to Cece's room behind him, and sort of fastidiously goes around and continues to pack everything that he can think of for the expedition ahead. Growth.
With that in mind, because you both have said that, so with that in mind, whatever happens today, you've got a lot of stuff on you, but as long as it is something that was listed in the itinerary within the homestead or within your personal itinerary, I'm assuming you've got it.
Cool. Thank you.
So you make your way to the lighthouse, am I right? Or are you going a different way? What's your deal?
Yeah, I leave this up to Mav because Cece's never been down.
You know, Mav,
Yeah, sorry.
you know very well that you can come down through the lighthouse, but the last time you went that way, well, first of all, you've got the like stuff at the bottom to deal with, but also the last time you went that way, you walked in a straight line and you didn't see the place where he was before. But you do now have the additional information, having helped Cece, that that tunnel is connected to underground. So you know that that's not the only way to get there.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
So it's technically it's kind of about just trying as many different directions as possible until you find one.
You got options.
Cool. I think this time, Mav, as opposed to the floaty sort of capes and sort of accoutrement that he usually has quite a sort of uniform kind of jerkin kind of. I don't know why I said jerkin because I don't know what it means. But sort of trousers and a kind of a like close cropped kind of shirt kind of thing.
Hessian though, right?
Hessian, absolutely, of course. What do you think I am?
Hey, Hessian,
A normal human? No. I am Maverick Spells. But yes, and I think in a very kind of Mav way, he's kind of back to himself. Not back to himself, but he's putting on a front of chatting about things and making sure that he's kind of keeping us tip top. Come on, here we go. There's a pot of really, really shit coffee waiting for you. Sort of when you come down, it's basically the mud again.
Cece's used to it. It's fine.
And a breakfast of very, very overly runny eggs.
Beautiful.
God, when the whites are still running. Oh no.
But yes, we sort of head to the lighthouse.
Wait, are we going through the lighthouse? Because I just wanted to say, now we can go underneath the island. It's a bit safer, isn't it?
I have to say that actually sounds marvelous. I almost destroyed the lighthouse the first 2 times I went down that way. So you know what? Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, all right. Well, because I can cast this spell. Oh my goodness, I forgot her name. I'm a terrible friend. Anya gave me a really nice ring. That means we can breathe underwater.
Oh, incredible! I mean, yes, absolutely. If that's okay, that would be marvelous.
Yeah, of course. I assume, Mav, have you explained like how you came through, like when we were fighting and when we found Joltish?
Yeah. I think I've sort of. One of the preparations that I made was an incredibly crude map of what mine and Elle's sort of passage through these caves and stuff was, versus sort of anything else. So yeah, I've kind of explained to you which road or tunnel we went down, including hideous little fucking baby face fish.
It's so sweet that Mav did that rather than Elle, who has all the survival skills and ability to actually make a really decent map.
Do you know why, Lydia? Do you know why? Because Elle might be dead.
Okay, so you're casting Alter Self.
Yeah, when we get to like the edge of the water or whatever. I assume I've been down enough to know that like, okay, if we jump off here, that's the best point. Like that'll be the quickest way. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you've done this trip a lot now. You've got into the habit of doing kind of like, I mean, you tell me, but like there's the dive spot, which is pretty direct.
Yeah.
The place where when you were like, I need to go, you just did a dive straight down, or you can kind of wade through the water and come like round a little bit. Either way is fine.
Cece likes the dive, and I think, yeah, she's going to encourage Mav to take the dive route as well.
Just a quick note. I'm wondering if the way that Cece casts Alter Self is slightly less testically than the way that Mav casts it on himself.
I think it's more...
That'd be nice.
A like Triton-ish, where like little gills just like grow on their neck a little bit and like spout out. Like, but they're like... I don't know, colours that match them well. So like Cece's are like little pink ones, where Mav's are maybe like orangey yellow.
Yeah, golds, and yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
I think there's super a moment where as you sort of cast it, I'm just going like feel at my neck and go, oh.
It doesn't need to be gross. It doesn't need to be hard.
So that was a me issue. Okay, cool. That's another thing that I need to. I'm just making a mental note.
Makes a note. No testicles needed. Great. Great. So, can I get a Cece? You actually still don't know these tunnels really well, because whenever you've been going down, you have been with the sole purpose of comforting your patron.
Yeah.
But you are aware of the fact that there's a lot of tunnels here that you have not explored yet. So I'd like someone to give me a bit of a survival check.
Elle,
could you go? Can I interest you in? Could I have a survival but with advantage because I've been down here a lot?
that sounds
Well,
cheeky, and I love it.
The thing is, with the amount that you've been down there, you can get so far, but you can't do the thing that you're trying to do? Because you've been in, like I said, you've just sort of been in to be with your patron. So you could get there. I mean, I'm going to just hand wave that and say that you can immediately get to a certain point in the labyrinth.
Okay, cool.
So from there on, I'd like a kind of straight one. Sorry to
that's fine.
On that idea.
Mav, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
I think you should probably do it, just because mine is a -2.
Oh my goodness! All right, I'll give it a go. Yours is a -2, and I rolled a 2.
That is interesting. You start swimming through these tunnels. What you quickly realize as you take one turn after another is that there was so much that happened that day that you weren't aware of.
Yeah.
You know, there were so many cave-ins that locked off certain areas. And as you're swimming through now, you're realizing that there were so many Saugeen and sea spawn that were killed that you weren't even aware of, that were nothing to do with any of you guys. Whole tunnels just littered with bodies that you had nothing to do with you guys killing them. And then you get to a point and you actually like breach the surface of the water, and Mav, you're half expecting at this point, because you've been swimming for quite a while, that you might. I told you to change the music.
Yeah, Malloy.
Come on, Malloy, get on it.
He's the fucking worst sound guy I've ever heard. You're half expecting, as your head breaks the surface of the water, to be in that little tunnel that takes you up, you know, sort of under the lighthouse area. And in fact, what you find is a chamber with a lot of things in it, rotten and broken. There are pieces of a demolished desk. There are soggy, rotten tapestries lying in heaps across the floor. Nature has very much reclaimed this room, and corals and luminescent algae coat the walls and the stone edges of this room. And you see, sat at the table that is broken in a beautiful but very dilapidated stone chair, is a skeleton.
A still one, right?
Yes, I realize that's not a given, but yes, it is quite still. Yeah.
Can we take a look at this? Like, get a close look at the desk and like what?
Yes, of course. There are papers and books all over on the table, on the floor, just absolutely everywhere. And if you would like to, you are welcome to go for investigation to sort of see what you find.
I mean, heck yes, if that's okay. And I think I get to roll it with advantage because I've got my monocle of the bookworm.
Well, what you have got is, I'll save that one purely because you're investigating the room, and then if you get something that's written, we'll definitely do an advantage one after that.
Consider me chastened. Yes. Yeah, we start. I think we start rummaging. Should we do separate rolls?
Yeah. Can I assist?
Have you got investigation proficiency?
No, I don't. So sorry. Just you do it.
No, that's okay. I rolled a 17 for a 24.
Okay. Can you give me an additional sleight of hand, please?
Ooh, yeah, I can. Yeah.
Wait, what was the total of that? You said 17 for a what?
24.
Ooh, that's good.
It is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. not sure it's worth me using a dice, portent dice on that. That's an 11 sleight of hand.
Okay. As you're stepping into the chamber and you kind of reach down to pick up a piece of paper that's on the ground, and your hand kind of goes straight through it, realizing this is so old that it seemed like it was a preserved piece of paper, but actually it was just rotten, but it hadn't been moved because there's no wind or environmental stuff down here. So then anything else, but I'll say this, that's the only time that happens is with that one sheet of paper, because it's not a terrible roll. So you learn your lesson. What you find is a lot of waterlogged books. In front of the skeleton is an open, large, kind of ledger-sized, leather-bound journal. To your mind, you see dates and stuff in it, and you know what? I'd say with that high investigation, it would occur to your high intellect that the Saugeen left this place alone. You know, there are a lot of, you know, they did not come in here for whatever reason. There are no footprints here. There is like a layer of sludge around that you know, no one's been in here for years and years and years. You also find on that delicious roll a broken teleportation circle, a broken arcane focus. And you realize that someone lived here for many, many years. The walls have scrawlings on them. And that's not, no, it's not. You also find a spell.
Okay.
A page with a spell on it, which you are welcome to take. It is called, I don't remember what I called it, Tom. I think it's called Eisodossian knowledge. It's something along those lines.
Okay, I'm just very quickly look for that, and can I literally, like, I explain all of this to Cece, and like as I'm sort of like scribbling this spell, sort of the kind of copying the spell from this paper.
It will take the normal amount of time to copy. I think it's actually called island knowledge. I'm more boring than I thought I was.
Just know how to make the perfect Mai Tai.
Oh God.
When Mav looks at the journal, you said it was dated and stuff. Is it readable? What's in this book?
You casting your eye over it, you can roll for it, but you immediately look at it.
All the suspense.
And it oh shit. Oh my God.
I think, I was going to say, I thought you were back, but I
think
it's... She'll be back any second.
Any second.
This is a wonderful... I think she's back.
I don't trust it. It's not been a full 20 seconds.
You got to give it the full 20. It needs a full 20.
I mean, the good news is that you haven't yet done the... I think I'm back.
Oh, I did. It just cut me off. Right. Okay. So here's the way that I can describe the reason why you can't read it. It's
Dumb bitch? Is that why?
No. No. It's you kind of think, oh, look, it's Sylvan. And then you look at it, and the way that I can describe it to you is it's a bit like reading Chaucer.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
It's just you know.
But is it the Sylvan equivalent of that though? Can I understand?
Yes, it's not just that it's because you understand Sylvan. I think you both do, but it is written in the you know, so archaic that you know, Mav has a chance with his monocle and with his census learning, but he, you know, it's going to take him some time. But Mav, if you look at it,
I think I think I do. I sort of take a little perusal.
Gently, so gently. Give me an advantage investigation check, if you wouldn't mind.
Cheers, mate. So the first was an 11 for an 18 total. The second will be better. Oh, it was. That's the first time that's ever worked. That's a 26. 19 plus 7 for a 26.
All right. That's beautiful. This is the Journal of Dio Aphrosi, a person who... He was an elf. And from what you gather is this. This is the man who made the island. He was the closest friend and advisor to the very first emperor of Iridia, Emperor Hetwan. Dio was first to bend the knee when this flaming genie came springing out of the fiery pits of a mountain. And together, side by side, they took Mar Iridia from what was a very Kafkaesque kind of style of government that was, failing Mar Iridia. And once they had Mar Iridia, they kept taking other regions. They're regions now, they were countries then. Yeah. And they created the Iridian Empire together. And when that happened, and Emperor Hetwan was like, okay, I've got enough. Let's now make this thing work. Dio wanted to give him something because he loved him so much. And what he did was pull in every favor from everywhere that he could, from gods, from devils, from anywhere, from wishes, anywhere he could. And he lifted the seabed up and made this place for his emperor, whom he loved so much.
Oh. Okay, cool.
The emperor loved it and then was happy that there was this, the beacon of Iridia that was so incredible, and loved the idea of people coming to look after this incredible lighthouse that his dear friend had made. But when he left to go back to ruling the country, he forgot. He forgot that the island existed.
God.
Dio, in the meantime, became obsessed with his own creation, obsessed with the magic he had created. He did not understand it himself, and obsessed with the fact that he believed the island had some form of its own sentience, that the island taught something to everyone that came. Those lessons were brutal in some cases, but everyone was given a lesson. And he became addicted to those lessons. He stayed and he stayed and he stayed. One more lesson is what you're reading. You're reading it on the walls, you're reading it in the journal. I know it has something else to teach me. One more lesson, one more lesson, one more lesson. And he was patiently waiting for his final lesson when he calcified and died. That's what a high roll gets you in this.
Right. I think over this time that, like, as he's sort of reading and kind of like flicking through the pages, like he goes from kind of like fascinated to kind of like shocked to just really depressed. And he sort of looks up at CC and just goes, I really, really fucking hate this island. And just I just explain in as clear a way as possible what you've just said.
Right. Blimey.
I mean, there are still so many. Why did the emperor, the first emperor, forget? Why do people not see the island? Why the fuck is there a moistened bint up above? Just policing it like it's her own domain. I just, and why is there a fucking gorgeous man locked in a cage downstairs?
Oh, is he good looking, is he?
Vital information that was not previously told to us.
Oh, you should have started with that.
I mean, you know.
No, I'm joking. I'm trying to make light of it.
Look, if I weren't preoccupied at the time, yes, maybe, yes, he was.
Right.
But, so.
Okay, so a man makes this island, and he thinks he's got sentience.
Which is very creepy, if I'm honest.
I'm just going to quickly wee.
Go.
And then man stays on island trying to learn the ultimate lesson.
What is the ultimate lesson? I think his lesson was like, there's only so much you can learn or something, right? Because like, turned him mad. This island was turned people mad.
Do you think that's it? Everyone's just. Do you think it's just there's just a lot of gas makes people absolutely batshit?
I mean, Mav, look at us. This time last year, we would have been like having brunch or something. What are we doing here?
Yes, you have a point. I mean, a fantastic.
Wait, but his thing.
Yes.
There's a teleportation circle here, right? Like,
Well,
why?
yes, but...
Why does it not work? Like,
look. Can I sort of look at the teleportation circle, look at the arcane focus, see like how they're broken or how they're sort of not working, see if there's any redemption for these things.
Your initial, I'm going to go off your rolls that you've already done because they were good. The arcane focus is broken because it's like a crystal ball that rolled off the table and broke on the floor.
Right. Okay.
The teleportation circle, to your eye, was purposefully broken.
Okay.
And you wouldn't know how to fix it now. A teleportation circle is like a big fucking deal, and it requires a lot. And this was purposefully sabotaged.
And I suppose there's not anything in the in the binary code of it that Mav can kind of ascertain that it goes to sort of a specific area, or like doesn't have you know, diagonally sort of
Oh, you know what? Roll that fucking thing for it.
Now, Lydia,
Arcana.
Cool.
Arcana.
I knew I was rolling too well. That was a 1, so an 8 all told. Still don't think it's worth me using a portent dice on today of all days.
You don't know.
Cool.
You're not sure.
Yes, I mean, where do you think it goes? I would only assume to, you know.
Well, if you know
the emperor's bedroom or something like.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I reckon it'd probably go straight to the
top.
Straight to the top. Yeah.
I'm struggling to pass any further knowledge from this information. Sad though, and depressing and mysterious though the story is. It doesn't say anything about this curious man trapped below. It doesn't say anything about about Elska.
Well, no, I think they probably came after, right? Like, look how old this is. This is like
Yes.
old.
Very old.
I think. Look. I can remember where it is. Cece says unconfidently. I think. Look, this is something we've learned. God, we gotta like break this story wide open when we get back. You know, tell people about this island and all that stuff.
And frankly, what a story it'll be.
If we survive. But I think unless there's anything else in here, I think we should keep going because, like, I'm genuinely really worried that Elsa's going to appear any moment and try and stop us, and Joltisha's only going to be able to distract her for so long.
Very, very, very good point. I would not like to be thrown, tossed like a salad once more.
No.
Let's go. Are there any kind of like clear sort of entrances and exits, like a big door that says this way to the dungeon? Like,
it is that one, you know, from your perspective now, it looks like a pool, but it's where you came in. It's just the one exit, one entrance.
Cool.
And it's not too difficult to find your way round back to kind of recognizable tunnels. And then I'll just need one additional survival check from either of you to try and head in.
I rolled a 17 survival.
I was about to say I trust you, and it pulled up. It worked.
Great. You kind of do that thing of like, okay, so that makes sense. So if that's there, that's the bit that that's like the middle of the labyrinth that I really didn't know and I hadn't looked at. So then you kind of, his Joltish's like place is that way, and that's the chamber where Joltish was being chained up. This, I think, is the area that I need to go now. And you suddenly have this moment of like, of course, because that's north and that's south, and you have this moment and you kind of head in the right direction. And after swimming for 35 minutes by your little water watch, you break the surface of the water and you are in a small tunnel that is, it is above. Mav, you recognize this is where you and Elle went down to go and help Cece.
This is we're getting close. This is the tunnel that we came through.
Perfect.
If we go and I sort of start to direct us toward where I did go that first time, as opposed to...
It is now that slightly exhausting thing of you're carrying a lot and your clothes are wet and you're walking uphill through this tunnel. So it is hard on the quads, but you... okay, here's the thing, Cece.
Yes.
You're stronger than Mav, but there is one with. I mean, that sounds rude. Are you?
I think I am.
Oh, you?
Oh, yeah, only just though. Only just.
Oh, really?
But you have a moment where you're like walking up and you can hear the heavy breathing from behind you, and you know that he's like slightly holding onto the walls to help himself, like steady himself. And then you just hear, oh, and you turn around and he's just disappeared through a wall because he went to go and lean on it and it wasn't really a wall.
Cece.
Wait. And I start patting on the wall where he just was.
You step through into this large... you've been in all these areas that are naturally carved out of stone, and suddenly it is this kind of rectangular, it's got almost like a warehouse feel to it. It's very purposeful, and you are back at that spot that you were in when you first saw him. You are a ledge, you're looking down into this cavernous space, and there is a cage, and you see him standing this time looking up at you, silent. large eyes.
Now, Cece, my dear, do not run directly towards him because there seems to be some form of, and I pick up like a stone or something from the ground and sort of throw it as hard as I can towards the cage to see if the barrier sort of procs again.
And then suddenly the stone just explodes into dust as it hit.
That was me last time.
Oh
So,
my goodness. Bloody hell! All right.
Can I first of all look around to see if anyone else is there?
Roll a perception check.
You had to say it, didn't you?
Well-
That was a 17 minus 2, so 15.
You feel really confident that it's just the three of you.
Excellent. This is what that's the wording that I want.
Yeah. Real confident.
Even your own confidence. Maverick.
And I kind of, I sort of say to Cece, it does appear that it's just us down here, but I would be careful. I don't actually know how to get through to where he is.
Okay. Can we get like closer? Like, could we work out like we're like 5 feet away from where stones start exploding? If that makes sense.
Yeah, you've got a vague idea just from that first stone, and you can keep throwing stones.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a bit of a weird feel for it because there's this very emaciated figure staring at you and you're lobbing stones at her, like, oh.
As soon as like we get off this or like get on the same level, I am like, hi, I'm Cece. This is Mav. We're not here to hurt you.
Just these big eyes and the gaunt face, and there are no words back.
Can you hear us?
Maybe
Is
not.
that a no?
Maybe not. Maybe he can't hear us.
Okay.
Right. No, if we need to get through this barrier.
Yes. Can I sort of like look around on the floor? Is there any sort of like, are there any kind of sigils that are like marking a barrier or like?
Give me investigation, please.
Why not? Sure, feck it. That's fucking hell. That's a 9.
Use it.
The song of your people.
I'm gonna change that to I sort of see in my head that me kind of dithering around and sort of like overbalancing and sort of like face planting into the force field in my head, and I sort of stop myself and I roll a 10 instead for 17.
Okay. You cannot see any sigils in the ground, any glyphs, any switches, any I'll give you an additional with 17. I'll give you an additional Arcana check for wizard information.
Oh, for fuck's sake! That's a 10.
Okay. This was not done by somebody who's like book smart at magic.
Yeah. Okay.
So it sort of stops surprising you that you would, if you were to make wards, you would put glyphs on the ground. But
now Lydia, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I, as I'm sort of like feeling around and sort of like seeing where the border is and all of this kind of stuff, can I try and cast Mage Hand sort of like on the other side of the force field to pick up a stone and try and bring it out the other way, kind of thing? You
do try that, and It fails.
Fuck. Okay.
What fails though? Is it like mage hand doesn't go off,
Or what's the alternative?
The
hand doesn't appear because he's trying to do it within the.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a good thing. That like it means.
We know that's good to know.
Yeah. So and I relay that information and sort of say, I mean that would indicate to me that trying to get through by magical means won't actually have any effect. So
that's good to know.
Right.
I'm not good with magic. You know, I've only really just got it, and if it's not like wizard magic.
You see that the man in the cage has come up to the front of the cage and is holding on to the bars and is watching you, so frail, so vulnerable. And when you kind of when you catch his eye, he steps back and goes,
He's saying don't talk?
I look at Cece and go,
so cute.
Does anything happen?
No.
Can I wait until it's like silent and then try and throw a stone through? Like
Stone.
the same thing happened.
The stone explodes.
Oh no, I don't know. I've no idea. I thought maybe if it was like silent, the spell didn't work or something. Or maybe he's telling us to be quiet.
I look at him and go, do you mean we need to be quiet?
He stares at you for a long time in a way that you're starting to wonder if he's even a person. And then he but no sound. You don't hear it. You don't hear the clap of his hands.
Okay, so he can't hear anything in there. So he can't hear us.
Right.
So
and I take a bit of chalk out of the one of the bags that we've got and write on there are like walls. There are sort of like 4 sort of stone walls. I write can you understand this? XOXO.
He looks at it for a long time, holding on to the bars, and looks to you.
Oh. Okay, that's good.
Right, yeah.
So now it's just a game of yes, no, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I write. What shall we write?
Oh, well, why don't you say, do you know how we can get you out?
Excellent. Do you know how we can get you out? Question mark. XOXO. Oh.
Okay. He knows. Okay.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Okay.
Do we have to be quiet?
Silent?
Silent? I look at Cece and go, Do you need our tongue?
I need that. Okay, right, Matt, look. We are two intelligent people.
Yes.
We can work this out.
Okay.
Okay. So he knows how we can help him out, but he can't say it because obviously there's no noise in there, or at least we can't hear it.
Yes.
So, see, here's the point
exactly
where
that's the
I
thing.
say stuff and then the clever people suddenly come to the realization. That's what usually happens.
So, look. Okay, so.
Wait, we can ask more questions. Can we break the barrier? Question mark.
Can we break the barrier?
I don't know why I'm making you write it all the time. I can write, but yeah. Okay. So we can't break the barrier.
Is the barrier... Is it the barrier that needs to be silenced?
Elska needs to be silenced.
You see at the lip reading of just that name, he like pushes back into the thing and is scared.
Is it her? I write on the wall.
No, it's not her.
Oh shit, Lydia. This is why riddles in D&D games should not be given to us.
No, we can work it out, Tom. We can do this.
We can do this.
Okay. That means maybe don't speak, so don't say anything.
Okay.
But the barrier can't be broken. Maybe it's can we move through the barrier? No, because
I write, can we teleport in?
Oh no.
I'm gonna cross that out. Shit.
Can you give us any other clues?
And there's no sound.
There's no sound. Can you hear when you clap? You can't hear anything, so it's not that we can't hear. There's no sound in there at all.
Is it the lighthouse that is doing this?
Lydia's not sure.
He doesn't know how to. I mean, I am talking to two people who don't have great passive insight.
As humans,
How
as
dare!
Yeah, maybe CC. CC, your passive insight is 10. Exactly. You might get that he's kind of like trying to work out how he would answer that, but he doesn't really know how to.
It's not a simple yes and no. It's probably like, it's sort of, but like not exactly.
Would it help to stop the lighthouse working?
He just looks at you in kind of wide-eyed amazement. I'm guessing that you're writing this. I'm always assuming you're writing it.
Is that a yes? Okay. Okay, so that's a yes. So
are we going to break the lighthouse?
well, oh goodness, that sounds
Right, well, here's the thing. Right, let's just think about this. What is it that happens if the lighthouse breaks?
yeah.
Oh, I wasn't saying to ask. I was kind
sorry.
of like for no, you started. Finish. I don't think he can answer, but just right. Will we die if we break the lighthouse?
Yeah.
Alright, that was a shrug. That's a shrug.
Okay, so look. There is nothing in the manual that I have read that says what will happen if the lighthouse is broken. Purely that some nondescript danger will occur. Now,
Right.
if I know anything,
he starts looking at the ground. There's like nothing in his cage but a bucket, and he's sort of in certain areas of the cage it is like standing water, but in other areas it's like mud with a lot of like his own footprints in it, and he starts writing in the mud like crudely, and it says, "Break my silence."
that will.
No,
The lighthouse will do that.
We need to break his silence.
Okay. Look, I broke a fair few of the lights, the arcane sort of sigils accidentally coming down the lighthouse on my first few travels.
Yeah.
I wonder if we intentionally do that, it might help or hinder.
Okay.
Is it worth? Here's the thing, Cece. Here is the thing.
Do you have like a dispel magic or something?
No, I fucking wish I did.
All right, just checking.
I rather think that we are fucked without Elle. I rather think that this lovely, lovely man is the only way that we could potentially get Elle back.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, is it worth us asking him before we break him out? Like, no, we can ask after. That's.
I kind of feel like I want to free him because.
Yeah. No. We definitely should.
I'm gonna draw just a very crude sort of drawing of like the bottom of the lighthouse, the lights that are sort of like the beams of light that are kind of crisscrossing, and sort of start like look back and start kind of rubbing the sort of beams out sort of slowly, and I write next to it, is this what you want? Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Wait, no,
Shall we do it?
Sure? Right. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna help. Then yeah, of course. But what if we need to do something else to break his silence? How do we break his silence? Wait. Can you write? Is the reason you can't talk the lighthouse? And I'll write or Elsker, and I'll do like this to indicate like. For him to put up like one or two. Both.
But yes, good.
Both. Okay, I didn't think both would be an option. Okay.
Oh. I think I fuck it. I think we should do it.
All right, let's do it. All right. Right, can we do it together and hold my hand
Yes.
while we do this? Because I'm really scared, like, the island's, like, gonna blow up or something. But, like,
Oh.
at least we'll go up together.
I really need to poo. I'm very, very nervous, but yes, I feel. I'm sorry. I'm saying I feel you. I feel you. Yes.
One last thing. Not that I want to drag this out, but I am just very worried we're doing the wrong thing and like almost like forcing a like. I feel like there's a riddle to be solved and we're just forcing it. But, Lydia, can I make like a check of some kind of like, okay, this person is trapped in here, but someone clearly comes in, or you know, like if they're like going in a bucket or whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, is stuff getting brought in, like food and stuff, like?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Come on, Cece.
Come on, Cece. I believe in you.
That's a strong 11.
You can't see evidence of comings and goings,
Okay.
but you can't see any food, and he's really thin.
Okay. So let's just assume this is a just trapped in situation. Okay.
Oh my god! Thank you so much for the raid. Very quickly, sorry. Poke your eyes out game. That's
Hello,
so kind of you.
hello.
Welcome everyone. It's bloody brilliant to have you
Welcome.
here.
You've come at such a moment.
Yeah, a moment. We're trying to solve a riddle.
Lydia, very quickly, does this sound like the worst idea in the world to Mav? Obviously, like I think Mav, I think Mav like is starting to believe that the manual for the lighthouse feels slightly revisionist history kind of esque. Like it feels like a kind of a long form indoctrination of all of the people here to say, hey, the sky will fall like if you don't do this thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
I can give you you could do an advantage because of monocle, like investigation roll on which is essentially you like flicking through the book quickly and giving and looking at it with new perspective.
Cool. God, I rolled so badly. I'm going to use a portent die. I feel like I just have to.
We need it. We need it.
A 21. 16 plus 7. I've done math terribly. 23.
Yeah, you have.
Here's the thing.
23.
The manual, you can't work out who originally wrote the manual,
Yeah.
but the manual is like notes upon notes upon notes of all the people who've been lighthouse keepers and all the changes and everything. And you suddenly profoundly realize that none of them have been here.
Right.
So they've never had a full picture.
Right. Okay.
They have all been so incredibly busy with staying alive, keeping the lighthouse on, understanding the glyphs that are up above, and finding ways of like really cleverly working out safety blah 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 thing for, you know, like the 30-minute thing, and all kinds of extremely helpful practical things and ways of making things, improving things. No one has ever gone, I tell you what, I'm going to throw myself down the middle of the lighthouse and work out what's down there just for a laugh.
Oh, it's wild that no one's gone, yeah, fuck it, let's jump to my death.
Let's see what's down there.
Okay, great. So I think I walk Cece up to that room in the lighthouse and just in the lighthouse, like underneath the lighthouse, and show her this sort of room with kind of intersecting beams of light that I seemed to think were to do with how the lighthouse sort of kept up, and sort of in the glow, I kind of like look round her and say, Cece, I don't know what I'm doing at any point ever, This is one of those points, and if this is the wrong thing to do and we both die, I'm ever so sorry, but fuck me, I'm glad that your wife won't hunt me down and kill me.
Oh, you have to bring her up right now? Thanks.
Way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah.
So why don't you roll for me a brand new Arcana, looking at these things with new knowledge?
Are you saying that the sort of raving in this is not the thing to do? Start voguing.
I'm going to say that you tripping all of the wires when you've been through the last couple of times does not actually give you great insight. So I'm giving you.
That is a 22 Arcana check.
Okay, cool. You have this moment of thinking. Wait, what was it again? Say it to me again. 22.
22.
That's high, Lydia. That's very good rolls.
I would say
it's
way high enough. Way high enough.
Something occurs to you from all the knowledge that you've gathered. That moment when you were looking at the warding downstairs, you were looking for glyphs, and you're like, you know what? There's no glyphs here either. This is natural magic. What's up there was made by wizards, made by people. This was made by the person who made that.
Shit.
And you start to gain an understanding of what this network of magic that is taking the power of the island and doing something with it. And you gain this insight into it, and I'm going to need you to roll.
Rolling in a TTRPG?
I'm going to need you to roll a d20 and add your spell attack in place of essentially that is you going, if I crack this crystal, that will deaden this, and I think that is to do with the silencing, or it's to do with the warding. It is your best estimate of the right ones to switch off.
Folks, give me that good vibe. Give me that good vibe only, please.
You got it. You got this. You can smash it. You got this.
That would be a 19.
That's good. That's good.
You take a moment with a elegant little I'd say it's probably like an elegant letter opener rather than a dagger. You are going to the stones and kind of jabbing into them to send cracks through these beautiful crystals, natural crystals. Yeah. And some of the lines flicker and drop. And you wait. And you wait. And you do another one. And you do a third one. And suddenly you hear this wind coming up through the tunnels towards you, and almost more a blur, more a flash than anything else whizzes past you and up through the lighthouse. And you hear a tremendous scream from the air outside. And you sit and you look at each other. And about 30 seconds later, there is, how do I describe it? A tumbling, this blur of movement and violence and noise and cacophony that comes rolling back down where it came from. It is sound and movement and air and wind and lightning and thunder.
Oh my god.
Did we fuck?
What have we done? What have we done? Can we make our way, like, in all this, can we make our way back to the cage to see if this is the man? Like, what is going on?
You walk with such utter silence, like so quietly treading back down the corridors.
I'm just crushing
And-
Mav's hand, like.
I fucking love you two so much. And just as you are like walking and walking, you see the silhouette of a figure in the hallway.
I pull out my sword.
Andokos. And he keeps walking and he keeps walking. Finally, I've been silenced for so long.
Oh.
And you freed me.
Mav just kind of melts a little bit. Just goes,
My saviors, thank you so much. And he keeps walking towards you until he's in touching distance. And he holds your hands, like bending down to get. Did you just say you like melted down, or are you still standing?
No, internally melted.
Internally melting down. He takes hold of both of your hands, these very bony, slender, cold hands. And you see now that he's close to you, tears are falling down his face, his ragged clothing. Thank you.
That's quite all right. I would just like to ask, you're not going to kill us, are you?
No, not my saviors. Of course not.
Oh, well, that's quite the relief. So I'm so sorry. What do we call you?
I'm Oscar.
Yes, you are.
Oh, shall I go?
Well, my name is Maverick. This is Chichelia, CC for short.
I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just call me?
I'm sorry, I'm really quite flustered.
Shall we go somewhere a little more
Yes.
comfortable?
Pull yourself together, all right?
I'm
Elle is dead.
I'm sorry, I've been on this island alone with you two for quite some time. Yes, Elle. Yes. Would you like to come to our place?
Yes. I cannot tell you how long it's been. I can barely remember a time before, but so my social skills, I'm afraid, will be lacking.
That's fine.
And he just lifts up off the floor and flies out and up through the lighthouse.
Oh, do we?
I got it. Joltish has got it, and I just cast fire on me and Mav. Like, we can do that. We can do that.
Yes. Oh, that's
right,
quite a rush.
Breathe. Don't fuck this up, because what a catch, right? If he's this really powerful being.
I mean, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Let's go back.
I just
he's like
touch
hovering
Mav up a bit as well, like.
He's hovering outside the lighthouse, you know, still so kind of frail, his clothes whipping around him in the wind of the morning. And you, all three of you, can just fly back to the homestead together.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, yeah.
I think that's what we do. I'm absolutely keeping an eye out for a wavery voiced old woman.
Yeah. You don't see anything. You can roll perception if you want.
I would like to, because I'm keeping an eye out, because I'm also worried about Joltish. 10.
I accidentally just rolled persuasion instead. You got me all a jitter.
That
was a 0. That's a 0. An actual 0.
Yeah,
Lydia?
you're not looking effectively anywhere, really. Cece, you don't see anything really either. But this is like, we haven't canonically like said that you guys have like flown like this before, Cece. I think you've always been really protective of your spells. So
Yeah, I don't think she's ever really cast it before. So I think she's like, okay, I think Joltish can help us, and she's a bit like, what? Oh.
it's so beautiful. Like, this is the first clear day. Like, you were so focused when you woke up. You were like, we've got fucking business to do today. You didn't realize it was the first day it hasn't rained in like well over a month. And it is just beautiful. The air is so crisp. There's this incredible breeze. And you get this view of the islands that for the first time is so beautiful. And you're not like weighed down with the oppression of just all the shit that you've been dealing with. And within, no time, you're setting your feet back down on that stony, coarse ground of the homestead island. And he sort of takes a second and he like anchors himself and goes, I think.
What's that, sorry?
I'm a little rusty with... It's just very overwhelming. I've been in the dark for so long, and...
No, that's it's quite all right. Can we get you something to eat, to drink, to smoke, snort?
I would just like to breathe the fresh air for a moment.
When you say you've been down there for so long, how long exactly is that?
I don't know how long. I couldn't see the sun rise and set. I couldn't say.
If you don't mind me asking, sorry, carry on. No, you're talking. Carry on.
Well, I was only going to say you seem to know of Elska. Don't. You should be careful around her. She isn't an old woman.
No, we got that.
She's anything but, and she's very dangerous.
Yeah.
When you say anything but, what exactly is she? Besides a raging hag.
I can tell you everything. Shall we sit?
Yes. Come in.
Yeah.
Sort of speed in before him, sort of like
He
wiping.
walks in and then he stops and like looking at the body of Elle, turns to you. What is this?
This is our friend, Elle. He was killed by what we don't exactly know, but killed early this morning.
We went to Elska for help and she wouldn't help him. We know she's powerful.
Well, it doesn't surprise me at all. But you don't have to worry about her anymore.
What do you mean?
Let me explain. And he sits at the table in the dining room. What I have to say will seem preposterous, and so I ask you to perhaps think of it as a silly story. What do you know of celestial beings?
well, only stories, but that's...
And do you know anything of the gods?
I can know of them.
Yes.
Not personally, though.
Celestial beings, angels, divas, planetars, solars, unicorns, all of us, we are made from an excess of something within our Creator. Many of us are made of pure love. Those celestials are often guides for mortals. They are made of God's overflowing love for people. I am an angel of Tirsh, and I am made from his passion. I was a soldier in his army. Tirsh has been at war with the goddess Panla for eons. Panla has her allies and Tirsh has his, and so the war has been evenly matched. Elska too is a warrior of Tirsh. I always wondered what she might have been made of. I wondered if she had been made of all the feelings my lord had during the wars, feelings of brutality, of paranoia, or even of the cold, hard void, the feeling that you have to have in order to send soldiers to war. Whatever it was, she hounded me wherever I went. I thought maybe it was jealousy because of the favor that I held with Tirsh. But it went beyond that. She sabotaged my every move. She caused such problems for me that once she purposefully destroyed and sabotaged a mission on the front lines, causing carnage and chaos. Eventually, Tirsh sent me on a mission, a material plane. You see, he wished me to walk and live in this form among people and try and shift the ill feeling. You see, mortals have begun to take his name in vain, and it has, I think you maybe know that God's powers are dependent on the supplication of mortals. And his power, certainly his ability to create allies, waned when people began to take his name in vain and hated him. I was devastated to leave his side, but it was a noble cause. So I committed myself to your linear timeline and took a physical body and walked this plane as a priest, trying to change the perception of my lord as the tyrannical harvester of those lost at sea, the God that I know, who is a compassionate father, who eases the way for the anguished, who creates balance. But everywhere I went, I found her in one form or another, and again and again and again she thwarted me. Finally, I confronted her. I told her I was on a holy mission and that she would have to kill me before I would give up on Tirsh. She said she would certainly try. And we both took to the skies and fought. Weeks passed, fighting. Considering neither of us need food or rest, we just fought on, two soldiers at an impasse. At one point, she seemed to weaken, and I thought that maybe I could finally end this madness, but I was wrong. She merely had a plan. And Mav, at this point, you replay the dream in your mind, or the images are returned to you of falling through the sky with Elska fighting and hurting you. She lured me here and used my weakened state and physical body to imprison me here. I have never known the reason why she wanted to work against her own beloved Tish in this way. I wondered if maybe she was a spy for Panlar the whole time. Maybe it was just pure jealousy. Maybe something else forced her hand. But I have been trapped by her, unable to speak or see sunlight, and worst of all, I have been unable to pray. I think she brought me here because of the magic innately in the rock here. The gods cannot see you. And some magical force makes people forget this place when they leave. I hope that goes some way to explaining things.
That's wild.
Yes, thank you for that.
If you give me just a moment to catch my bearings, I think as a thank you, I could give you your friend back. If he has not already irrevocably passed on.
We would... Yes.
Thank you.
Please. Thank you. Yes.
Could you make, whilst I rest a little, would you mind building a raft for the ritual?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. And I immediately rush out and go to the sort of wood store and start kind of bringing out like logs that we would ordinarily be putting on the fire. And as I do, I start to kind of incant in my mind and slowly cast fabricate on this wood to create a raft.
Oh, thank goodness you know how to make a raft. Cece came running out as well and was just like, Mav, I don't know how to make a raft.
No. It's okay. I feel as though if Elle could see us now, he soon will. As
I hope so.
Carries on, sort of, working on this raft.
Cece, roll a perception check for me, please.
Oh, no.
They're just a really sad red rock looking at us.
6.
Oh, okay. Nada.
Oh, why was I so bad?
Once you've done that, you go back inside, and Oscar, who is now sitting next to the body of Al, looks to you and says, 3 people will need to speak for your friend. Try and ask him to come back.
Do they have to be people? Can animals speak for him?
Cece, Jaques is a person like you and I.
Yeah, I know we view him as a person, but I don't know how it works, you know.
If this Jaques can find a way to ask for your friend to come back, that is all that is needed.
Okay. Mav, I'll go find Jaques. And I frantically run to the beach where he last was and try and find him.
You find Jaques exactly where you last found him. He looks, as you said, exactly like a red rock, an orange rock. You kneel down next to him. His legs are like curled up under him, and his eyes are down, and his under that shell, his flesh looks very pale and anemic.
I think Cece casts shape water to pull some out like her water skin to try and like encourage him to drink or something, and she knows he doesn't understand her, but a bit like when you're talking to a dog, she's hoping that he'll pick up on what she's saying, like the vibe, and she's just like, come on, you need your strength, someone might be able to help him, but he's gonna need you, so up you get, we're gonna get him back.
Roll animal handling. I'm going to give you advantage because you used a spell to help.
Kiss the crab. Na 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 na, don't be
Right,
shy.
I'm gonna roll dice. I'm gonna roll then. Natural 20.
You see those eyes just look up and takes a sip of water, and you just see some small bubbles begin to form at the side of his mouth, and slowly he gets up, and you can see as he walks, moves, that he is not very well. He is not doing well without his ranger master. Is not a great word, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
And you all meet at the shoreline where the raft is. I'm guessing maybe Mav, you have brought Elle's body out and placed it on the raft.
Yeah, I think so. Sort of rolled him over and over. No, I think I've just no. I think I would have asked Oscar to help with Elle's body to bring it out onto the raft. Yes.
Oscar stands there looking gravely at the body on the raft and turns to you and says, "Who will speak first?" So we're doing the Mercer rules. You're gonna need to choose a skill to roll and describe how it is that you are beseeching your friend to return.
Shit.
Okay. I know what I'm rolling, but just saying stuff is. Whew. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Let's get the bad rolls out of the way. Okay, so I just need to, like talk to Elle? Is that what I'm doing? I've never really done this before.
You need to give him a reason to come back.
Okay. Elle? I know we haven't known each other that long, really, considering your long life and that sort of stuff, but, I think there's this thought that, like, races like yours that live a long time and races like mine and Mavs that maybe don't live so long, that there can't be some harmony there, or like we don't matter so much because we've gone in a blip to you. But I've only known you a couple of months and you mean a lot to me. You mean a lot to Mav. You mean the whole world to Jaques, and I don't think you'd like to admit it or know it, but in your 500 years of life, or however old you are, I don't actually know that. It's probably, I'll ask you if you come back. But however long you've been alive, I think there are people out there who would miss you and do miss you. And, you know, I can be selfish and say, I really want you to come back because otherwise me and Mav might actually die here on this island without you because you're like the only competent one, you know. None of the fish don't come to us like they come to you and like all that stuff. And if you have moved on and you're happy, then that's okay. But if you need a reason to come back, then let us be a reason. We're your friends and you've still got so much life left to live, so please come back. I think you and Mav are like the only people to see the real me, and I think I need that. So please come back.
Are you rolling a persuasion check?
Yeah. Oh, guys, what do I roll? What do I roll? What dice do I roll?
The good one, the loaded one.
The loaded one. No, I'm going to roll this pink one that I haven't rolled yet. Okay, that's 16 on the die, so 24.
Okay.
Mav.
Fuck. Elle, I have always strongly believed that the purpose of one's life is to put their mark on the world. And the gods know I have tried and tried and tried for years to do that. To seemingly no avail. And here you have been a man who has tried his hardest all of his life to make as little mark as possible wherever he goes, to breeze through his life without footprints in the sand. And I have not seen anyone nearly as content and as carefree as you. As Cece says, we have only known each other for a short time, but in that short time, I know your integrity and I know your worth to us. And though you've tried not to make a mark on this life or in this world, you have failed drastically, my friend, because your friendship has impacted my life so much. And I know for a fact that is not over. It should not be over. You've taught me in the short time that I've known you how to be content, how to be happy. And I don't want you to stop teaching me that. I don't want you to stop. I don't want you to leave no footprints, to leave unperturbed. I want you to come back and live your life to the fullest. You have you have taught me a great deal about balance. Let me teach you something for a change. Let me give you the wherewithal to imprint yourself onto the lives of us all that bit more. Please, El. And I put my hand on his chest and say, come back and leave a footprint. And I don't know whether this is janky, but I'd like to potentially use history for this role, the history that we have had together, brief though it may be, and the history that I hope we will have one day.
It's cheeky, but I'll allow it.
Yes.
Oh, come on, guys.
All right, you got this. You got this, Mav. You got this.
Oh. Okay.
God, I wish you had your pot and dice now.
Okay. So, it's 7 plus 7 for a 14.
While you've been talking, Jaques has very, very slowly been moving across the beach and picking up stones.
Oh.
And making a little pile. Picking up a stone, turning it over in his claws, making sure it's perfect, and balancing it on top of the last one that he left. The final stone that he picks up is the piece of sea glass that CCU gave him from Anya. And you see his claw scratch at it a little bit. And he's there for a while, just making a little...
While Mav's making this great speech.
And he places it on the top. And etched into that purple stone is the symbol of the Swift Maiden, which is, I'd add, quite impressive because this image, the symbol of the Swift Maiden is a winged fox. So Jaques really went for it.
What?
Jesus, Jaques, what is...
What the fuck?
All this time, what a whittler. What an absolute whittler. Oscar pushes the raft out into the water and raises his hands up, looking up to the sky. And at first, you're not quite sure what's happening. You just see the raft push out, push out, push out, push out. And then you see the clouds pulling in, and you feel the wind begin to pull around you. And the rain starts falling. And a storm takes the raft further out to sea. It is hard to see the raft now because the waves are dipping are like pulling it around. A lightning bolt hits the water around the area where the raft is. A second. And then a third. Come on, Iridia dice. Come on! Nikki, is Nikki gone to bed?
Nikki's gone.
I've been here the whole time. Hey, everyone.
Let me take you through a little of Elle's experience. That final arrow strikes you straight through the chest, piercing your heart. It is truly a shot that the Swift Maiden would have been proud of if it was not ending the life of one of her followers. You see the mad face of the elf, hysterical, triumphant. And then you see this moment of doubt in his face as your vision darkens. You feel the stony sand under you and the rain falling on your face, and it fades. All feeling fades. And you find yourself in a stone room. Beautiful tapestries hang from the walls, as well as lights, glowing crystals held on the walls and in sconces. There's a beautiful golden brazier lit next to the most exquisite wooden writing desk. And a man sits at the writing desk, working on some papers. This man is elven, blonde hair, rich brown eyes, a circlet of twisted metals, a jeweled symbol in the middle. His robes are archaic looking, very fine, all pomp, no vanity, gold thread, velvet, good tailoring, high neck, long sleeves. Ah, hello. Nice to meet you. Would you like to take a seat? You've nothing to fear from me. My name is Dio. Your name is?
I think Elle's gonna, assuming he has his, or some version of his hat, take his hat off. Hi. Folks call me Elle.
Very nice to meet you, Elle. I'm afraid all I've got here is to offer you is wine, but because I ran out of tea quite a while ago. But I've got smoked leaf if that's your preference. But take a weight off. I can see you've been in the wars, but you can rest here.
I'm real sorry. I appreciate the hospitality, but I'm good on the wine. Where am I?
Well, that's actually quite a good question. You're in some ways you're in Eisodos, but in other ways you're really not. I'm sorry, I can see that you really crave answers, and I'll give them to you, but I think really the answers to the big questions are going to elude me as well. But it's important that I let you know that you can pass on whenever you wish. If you linger here a while, chat to me, then you'll be nearer if you think it's likely that you'll go back, or more kind of accurately if you think they'll bring you back. Either way, I always love to hear what's been going on the island, or just stories from
I,
Some people stay a while, some people go right away. It depends how you're feeling. And you just get this kind of sense of like, there's no harm in this person. They're not pressuring you to do anything. It is just, it's despite its kind of almost academic look, there's books lining the walls and everything. It's got a kind of doctor's waiting room feel about it. That's the energy that it gives, not the aesthetic that it gives. You're welcome to do whatever you want. Tell me about anything that you've been through, anything that you want to talk about.
I mean,
Or not.
no, it's fine. It's more kind of it's a big decision, but I think I'm mostly at the point where I don't think they'll be able to take me back, but I always pictured this going a little different, and
Okay.
as in, I always thought sometimes when we've just been talking about what life looks like at its end, I always thought Jaques would be here waiting for me, so
Oh.
I figured I should at least do him the same, and maybe I can wait for my friend.
Well, you've got a friend that you think might also pass on soon.
I don't know about soon, but
Okay.
I always thought he'd be waiting for me, and we could move on together, and I think it wouldn't be. He'd do the same for me. So I think if it's all right with you, maybe I can just kind of hang in limbo until he gets here.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I got 400 odd years of stories. If you're
Now
hurting
you're
for...
talking my language. Yeah, tell me anything. And you while away an evening of, I guess, you telling him stories of your life.
I think he's going to, for the sake of ease for L, as in to make it as easy as it can be for him, given that what has just happened to him. I think he's going to tell stories that are maybe a little bit older, and
so you don't tell him how you died?
No. I think Elle maybe tells him about the halfling village whose kind of like able-bodied population was pretty much decimated by like war or kind of like hardship, and like the songs that he learned there, and the food, and like teaching them how to fish so they had like sustainable like food sources and could kind of like live, and then kind of like the sort of like story punchline being that like he just lost 60 years there, like he like it was over in the blink of an eye for him, like he thought it like it sort of felt like a few weeks, but it wasn't until they were burying people that he'd known as children that he was like, oh, like this is like fully someone's whole life. And then the stories get like rapidly much shorter beyond there. Like Elle never really spent anywhere. It never spent any amount of time anywhere that was anywhere close to that. Like maybe a year, because that was just to lose 60 years. Not in a, for him 60 years is nothing, but to lose someone's lifetime in your life is like a realization that he didn't appreciate. He's aware of how fragile life is, but seeing something go like its full cycle Even for Elle, who is a pretty slow-moving guy, like beyond that, it was just a year in occasional places, and most of the time it was moving because otherwise he sees the evidence of how much time has gone by.
I think this island is crueler to us elves than others. I mean, I'm clearly biased about that, but I think it might be something to do with us being as close to immortal as it gets here on the material plane. I think there is. I think the island often likes to teach us about time. Well, I just I've seen a lot of elves pass through, and their stories are so often their time on the island is fraught with experiences where I think, the island teaches everybody lessons. I don't know if you knew that. And I think the lessons that it likes to teach elves is that we lose touch with time and the importance of it, of every second, even when you live as long as we do. I think that's why our lessons can be more brutal. But maybe I'm just more sympathetic those lessons, because ultimately it was the last lesson that I never learned.
So you lived you were one of the lighthouse keepers? Like, you were one of the folks they brought in to look after the place?
No, but I've seen a lot of keepers come and go. I've been here since the beginning, and
so you were you were born on the island, or?
In some ways, I guess, there was like a kind of rebirth that happened here, but no, I wasn't born on the island. I actually lived a long life before I came to the island. There's a lot of things. I think, funnily enough, the island probably would not have been trying to teach me to pack my life full of things when I first came to the island. It was only years later that I digress. It's been very nice to talk to you.
I mean, and you, Dio, yeah.
Dio.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's real nice, and I Jaques is he's a stubborn one, so I may be here for some time before he passes these gates.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. And, there are lapses in conversation where there is just a comfortable silence, and he goes to writing in a large leather-bound journal. And then there are moments when you chat, not necessarily about big things. Sometimes it's about smoke leaf and tea that he misses greatly since he ran out. And then after quite a lot of time has passed, he sits up and goes, "Oh, all right, I think something's happening. Oh God, this feels different. Okay, you're about to go back, but I'm going to just quickly say this. Something feels a bit wrong. Please listen to me. You don't owe me a single thing, but please don't let the island be destroyed. It was my life's work. Please, something feels different this time. I'm so glad that you get to go back. Send my love to Jaques, whoever that might be. And farewell. And in that moment, you are wrenched out of that beautiful, opulent, bright room onto a raft in which you are kind of strapped down to, bobbing in the sea, looking up at storm clouds and lightning and wind pushing you around. And guys, on the shoreline, Jaques has been sitting kind of staring out, trying to get a good view, looking back at his pile of stones, and then suddenly he runs into the sea.
Oh, is that a good sign?
Jaques, please, tell me you can swim.
Love it that you've got this far and you're not quite sure if you can swim. And a little while later, you see the raft being pulled back, and I think probably Elle is the storm starts to kind of die away, and Elle is sitting comfortably. Maybe he's even, I don't know, you tell me, maybe he's even got off the raft and is sitting on top of his crab as he always has done.
I think the first, like, when Elle exhales breath for the first time, given what was going on when he died, I think the first, like it was the words that were in his throat when the arrow punctured his lungs, and I think he just screams, like, Jaques.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh god. Oh god.
Fuck you, making me feel feelings about a fucking crab.
Oh god.
Hey guys, do you remember on session 0 when you were like, I'm gonna eat that crab?
Yeah, fucking hate this crab. Fucking love this crab now.
And I actually think, like, when the dust settles, I think Elle and Jaques are just hugging, like, on the raft. Like, I don't think Elle's, in spite of what he's learned, in a rush to get to the, how long did that feel, like, that time up there?
It will have felt like, I think it will have felt like the amount of time that it was here,
Cool.
which is the best part of a day. You're in the afternoon now.
Sorry.
No. I've been sitting just offside, just like here, and it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I think he's hugging Jaques, and then I think before they go back to shore, Elle is gonna, like, take a look at him in his eyes, and I think maybe during some of the quieter moments while he was up there with his hat in his lap, I think he, like, started to notice all of the small holes where, like, the hat had become, like, threadbare, and it's that kind of, like, the wear that you wouldn't notice on your body. It's it's akin to, like, seeing laughing lines or a grey hair for the first time and going, like, I am finite, and it's seeing this thing that's been, like, I think a lot of people have referred to him as the elf with the hat, like, in his, like, time, like, passing through places, and this kind of, like, weird signifier for him as, like, eroding in his wake. And I think he's gonna kind of, like, cut a giant crab as best as he can, and I think he's gonna look him in like a burger. I think he's gonna cut Jaques and just sort of take him in a little bit and just say to him, just quietly, while they're just them on the raft, and just say, look, I know it's been a long time, and maybe longer than it needed to be for you, but I just want you to know that if you ever need to go, you know, I understand, and I'll still come looking for you when my time is up. And just sort of give him a hug before they head back to the shore.
Okay. You are in no hurry to return to shore, but when you do finally take it in, you see that there are 3 people standing on the shoreline, 2 of which are very recognizable to you, and one is a skinny little grey dude with rags on.
I think he's going to hug Mav and Cece and just say, I'm going to need to teach y'all to fish in case this happens again.
I was so scared we would die.
You can't do this without you, Al.
Just kind of cup your face in my hands and give you a big old kiss and just say, I'm really glad you're back.
Well, I appreciate y'all. I assume y'all had something to do with this. He's going to put his hat on Cece's head and then kind of look at the other guy and be like, so I assume that y'all had something to do with this? My name's Elrond, if you want to get, official about it.
Oh, well, my name is Oscar. It was quite literally the least I could do. Your friends are my saviors as much as they are yours at this stage.
Yeah, Mav said, I assumed that this is the gentleman that Mav, you said you saw, and we were trying to come and see if you could help us help Cece. But these things...
The man in the lighthouse.
So, you have what I imagine is the rest of the afternoon to kind of relax. Cece, can you give me a perception check?
Yeah, I can.
The hat's got a gun in it. It had a gun in it this whole time.
No guns! No guns!
19!
Ooh.
That's good for
Been
Cece.
facing out to sea quite a lot, and you finally clock the head of Joltish with their hair swirling in the water, just like.
Oh, I'm gonna go wading in. Sorry, I don't want to intrude.
You're there for hours going.
1 minute.
I know you're having a moment, but
When you're done resurrecting your dead friend, can I grab you for a quick chat?
Trying to get to the fridge in Tesco, but someone else is just picking what milk to have, and you're like, see, I know what I want, and you're in the way, and I can't kind of reach over you because that's like a whole,
do I get a 2 pint, a 4 pint? Choices!
I'll go wading in, hey, is everything okay? We got him back. We got this guy out. He seems pretty cool. What?
You released the man?
Yeah. Look. He says he's a celestial being of Tersh, and so is Elska. Why do you look so sad?
Elska's gone.
Okay.
I was talking to her, and it just happened so fast. And she's gone.
Like, where?
I don't know.
But that's... I know she kind of meant something to you because she like helped you out, but that's fine, right? Like,
a tear rolls down his cheek, forming into a pearl.
oh.
You get a bit too early and it's still like not solidified yet. It's still in the tear duct. Like,
Sorry.
As it drops into your hand, I'm guessing you're trying to like.
Yeah.
You don't get words from it. What you get is sorrow. And he says, "I'm so glad you got your friend back."
Thanks. Are you sad she's gone? It's okay if you are. I'm not questioning it. I'm just...
She was, for all her hard edges and meanness, she was the closest thing to a mother that I've ever had.
I don't know how to hug them, but I'm going to try. I'm just like...
They kind of draw you in, and you know, they're a big form, but they are very grateful for the embrace. And they pull back and say, enjoy your evening. Well, you know where to find me.
I'll come check on you tomorrow. You're welcome to join us, but I also understand if you need to be on your own.
Thank you. And they swim away. Oh, no, they turn back?
I know she's probably all you had for a long time, but you got me now. So just know you're not on your own, okay?
Thank you, Cecilia.
You're welcome.
And then they go.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you have a nice evening, get some crack out the last of the good wine or whatever it is that you fancy doing for the evening.
Yeah.
I think Elle will tell them all about what happened, about Dio.
We'll fill Elle in on like we came across his bones. Oh, okay.
And then I'll like tell Jaques about him in like a he seemed nice sort of way, but also if as and when, don't be afraid to pass on and I'll find you by a lake.
Oh.
And then I think Elle is going to spend a long time, if people will allow him, telling them about his mothers.
Oh. Yeah.
Because I think, weirdly, in all of this, the thing that hurt the most was this thing trying to kill him with his own mother's arrows.
Mm.
And
what do we know what that is? Was that like a lesson and it's been taught, or like is there an assassin out there still going to try and kill you?
I mean,
because I can't go through that again. Like,
no, I know, and I appreciate everything you did, but I think you can't say you learn a lesson, You can only live the lesson learned.
Right.
So, I mean...
No idea what you meant, but yeah.
So...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cece's like, there's that like, oh, I have no idea what he said.
Sounded
It sounded wise. No idea what it means. I'm gonna nod along and be happy that Elle's
Wisdom
back.
17.
Yeah.
Wisdom 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Elle is just gonna tell stories about his mum's and him as like a kid in the forest where he grew up, and them talking to him about how you find the perfect branch to make an arrow like shaft out of, and about how like he never got bored looking because it would take them weeks to find one, and he adored the like methodical pace with which, and like that translates to maybe the wrong learned lesson. This kind of like his mother's being like master Fletchers, and took time to do everything perfectly. And what he learned, maybe he learned the beginning part of that, which is take the time, and not so much the purpose for taking the time. And I think maybe that's where he kind of like rolls that idea around in his head a bit, where he's like, the pace of his life has felt consistent ever since he was like he has memories, but maybe like he's missed the purpose of that. And he's very good at the stuff he does, but he's a century away from being anywhere close to a century is not anywhere near long enough. He's a millennia away from being anywhere close to as good as his mother's are. So there's that kind of like, they spent all that time to like on something and like kind of in service of not only a craft but each other, and outside of Jaques, which I think he's aware that Jaques is somewhat divinely gifted, because there is like within Av's ethos the kind of like the brotherhood of, there's a gender neutral word that I can't think of, like this collective of hunters, as it were, like this idea of like a lone wolf or a lone hunter like actually doesn't exist. Like you're all in service of this one great hunt to survive. So Elle being by himself and Jaques being so Jaques was an actual crab. He was not a giant crab, he was an actual crab.
He's just grown.
And he's lived hundreds of years.
Is Jaques like Clifford the Big Red Dog? He grew so big because you loved him so much.
I mean, a bit. But he also grew so big because crustaceans don't stop growing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like 150, 200 years old.
Oh my god.
More like crushtation.
No.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do now is
Cry?
loosely go like move forward in time, because after all we were going to go into the second half of downtime, but we'll go easy, we'll go slowly. Elle, obviously you have that you're at minuses for a little bit.
Yep.
You've just got to kind of live through the kind of aches and exhaustion that comes with being a bit dead for a while. When you do like change your shirt the next time, you see that there is this marking on your body now, in like scarring, but in a kind of dark gray that is like, well, I mean, I don't know if Al's ever seen it before, but I think we as people have all seen scarring that comes from lightning across people's body, and it is like just this sort of
I think he's seen it in trees, like in other kind of like bio, like seeing it in the earth. I think he's maybe seen it, but not in a person, because I think that would be unlikely. And you see it as a reminder of that
this thing that you've passed through, this time that you've passed through. Mav, when you see the next day, when you see Oscar, who I'm assuming you guys are allowed to take one of the many empty rooms.
No, we were like, oh, it's getting late.
Bench down here because we don't have the linens for that. Can you please roll me a perception? A perception check.
Yes. Actually, first of all, I'll roll my portent dice just in case.
Yes, very important to roll your portent.
Important.
Cool.
Important. I'm important.
Keep workshopping it, bud.
It's like the bit in Harry Potter where he goes, "I am Voldemort, Tom Riddle," but all that actually happens is the letters "I am" just move, like shift a little bit. I'm important.
That was a 13, so an 11.
You.
Lydia's going, guys, I'm really trying. I'm trying here.
You wake and Oscar is not kind of awoken yet, and it's that thing when you have a guest round and you wake before they do, and you're like, ooh, what do I go and wake them? Do I let them lie in? What do I just get on with my chores? How do I handle this?
Oh, what was that? I think he's fallen out of bed. Oh, I should better check.
I think you probably make the excuse of taking some breakfast into his room for him, thinking maybe he's tired or something. Maybe he's like exhausted and wants breakfast in bed. And you enter and he's actually sitting on the side of the bed, like elbows on knees. And you...
Hello. I bought you some breakfast. It's just a little something I threw together. This is a pain au chocolat. This made by hand. This here is eggs Benedict. I call it eggs Maverick.
What really are they, Mav? What?
The pain au chocolat is just bread. With a little bit of mud running through that I've prestidigitated to taste like chocolate. And to be fair, the eggs are eggs Benedict or eggs Maverick, which is just kind of poached eggs with a bit of the mayo creme brulee, sort of like on top. I gotta go. If I'm honest, there's not an awful lot to choose from, so I hope you do enjoy.
I don't know. And he stands, and you have this moment when he stands, because the room isn't that big, and you're standing quite close, and you suddenly sort of realize, well, hello, you're taller than I. Oh, wait, you don't say it like that.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. But you have this feeling like he stands up, and you're kind of like taller than he was.
Oh,
or you hadn't realized that he was quite that tall.
Are you feeling better? You certainly look it.
Yes, thank you. It is. I can feel myself gaining strength and all the time. I wonder. This is quite an ask, but would anybody have a change of clothes for me? Maybe something from the previous.
Give it 20. Give it 20.
Give it 20.
Let's just wait for Lydia to say, "Oh no, I think I'm back," and then give it another 10.
Is Mav gonna make this dude some Hessian clothes?
Disbelieve it. He's just going, "Oh no, I don't have enough to give you a full outfit. These speedos will have to do."
It's like a matching to Cece's horrendous One Piece Mav made.
Sorry, I think you're back.
I'm back now. What did you? I came back to. Speedo. We'll have to do.
Mav's
No,
making him the Hessian Speedo.
Yeah. I think as he says that, Mav goes, darling, you've come to the right place. And I go, come, and take him to the room that is sort of next to my room, which is essentially my walk-in wardrobe with all of the sort of like flowing robes and things like that. Most of them, all of them, none of them will fit. But it's a start to at least get some sort of fashion, and then I'll sort of talk to him about.
My favourite thing about all of this is canonically there's a ship that crashed just on one of the other islands, and there is definitely like sails and like other kind of like very useful fabrics that ships keep, and you've gone Hessian sacks all around.
It started off as a bit, but what's that mean? Started off as a joke, but it's not a joke anymore.
I'm guessing TikTok.
Yeah.
Great. You kind of you sort him out. He doesn't seem to understand particularly what goes together, so he leaves it to you to pick out something, and he's very grateful. And
Did just very quickly, did Elle discuss that? Oh no, did Cece discuss the fact that Elska's gone to us, or is that something that you've kind of?
Oh yeah, she definitely would have been like when we were chatting that evening, been like,
Cool.
See, yeah, she's gone. Joel is just sad about it.
Yeah. In that case, I think when there's a lull in the conversation, unbelievable, I know. I think Mav does sort of say, "Forgive me for bringing matters back to the more serious, but now that Elska has gone, what's your plan? You said that she's chased you over the years, time and time again. I mean, will you be?" And I kind of avert my eyes for a second and say, "Will you be going too?" Or...
I have so much to think about, and I ask me again in a week or so. I think I'll know better. Barely experienced life free of her.
Well, I mean, I surely do wish for you to experience everything that life has to offer.
My power is much depleted, so it will take me time to come back to my full strength, but I'd like to talk to you more on the subject. And if it's all right, we can imagine that I know that I can sort of keep an eye on time, but I'd like for us to talk a little bit about what might happen in the next week. Or so, I mean, what is a week? There is no week in this time, but that sort of 7 and 10 days go past, and it is not necessarily downtime, although you would be doing downtime stuff, and it's good to bear that stuff in mind. But just briefly, what would you do with that? Because I'll tell you this, Oscar is not really one to pitch in.
He'll fit right in.
I think Elle is going to carve out some time to teach Mav and Cece, if either of them are willing, how to use a fishing rod. And also how to set a trap specifically for turkeys, because he's let's start with the turkeys because they're thick as shit. Let's not try and catch like a rabbit or like a hare or anything because that requires some dexterity, and what he doesn't want is Mav breaking a pinky finger in a small animal's there.
Help! I'm stuck! Somebody sort me in the
just your
grass.
pinky is like tied to like in a rope. So I think his priority is putting them two in a position where they can work on these skills. Sans him. And yeah, and I think he's going to make a concerted effort to ask them about life prior to the island, each of them individually, like whilst fishing.
Yeah.
We'll do a roll for them learning to fish because it'll be a bit of a shortcut because you're teaching it directly to them. But when the month is up, we can have them, so we'll push the actual learning of it. But it's good to know that that's what they're.
The conversation is mostly surface stuff Nikki already knows,
Yeah.
but Al doesn't.
Cece.
Yes. I don't know how much is Cece and how much is Michelle, but like, just concerned about a lot of stuff. Like, I think there's an element of like, this is all too easy. Something's up. Oh, I know what Cece wants to do. Or is this what Michelle wants to do? I'm gonna make Cece do it.
If it's what I think it is, I wanted to do that, but Elle wouldn't do that.
Oh, well, you're a fool for not pushing your code. I want to snoop around old Elska's house.
Yeah. All right. You take some time. Why don't you give me a little bit of a whatever
Investigation?
Well, you can do investigation or perception. It's whatever. You'll get a slightly different answer.
Second
Terrible.
character death.
Oh, I'm terrible at both.
She's choosing between a 0 and a -1, bless her.
2
chose a
perception.
2 perception.
Yeah.
It's gone. She can't find the house.
Yeah, you just have this moment of like, God, it's just like it's the cottage, isn't it?
Yeah.
You even can't really. I think when you're sailing back, you have this moment of like, I didn't even look at the wooden vegetables. Jesus,
Yeah.
I forgot that the vegetables were wood.
Yeah. That Cece would just walk in and be like, oh, yeah, it's just cottage, isn't it? Yeah. Then yeah, I guess she spends time getting chat with Elle. I think she tries and does a similar thing of like chatting back and making sure to ask. I think it's the kind of stuff Cece had tried asking towards the beginning, but Elle was like not that chatty. But like now is like getting the answers of general chit chat and doing like, so what do your mothers do? Like, what do they like? Like, all of that sort of stuff.
I think when he learns about your wife, it makes him a bit uncomfortable, but I don't think he broaches anything.
Yeah.
Cece, with her passive perception, insight even.
Yeah. She just keeps talking.
It's just Elle just shares a look with like Jaques at one point, just like
He knows. No, he knows.
Cool.
Yeah, and I guess there's no other signs about the assassins, and if one thing I think she does request from everyone is like we set up some sort of like we go off on our own less often, and especially Elle like is like a risk of like getting shot or whatever, so we maybe like double up on some of the chores, or make sure like, okay, so when you're doing that chore, make sure we're on the same island. What?
I've had a great idea.
What?
So when I was
Sorry, you've already had your turn.
yeah, but trust.
Okay.
When I was living with the halflings, there was a group of teens that had kind of they ran strings through the treetops and attached them to empty like cans. Can I try and make a can foam? From the
Can you
homestead.
swap out, just ever so quickly, swap out cans for shells that you have in abundance?
Fucking,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I make a shell phone? You used to call me on my shell phone. From the homestead, like a fucking long string one all the way to the top of the lighthouse.
That's not gonna work, but I think it's cute anyway.
Where did you find all these cans, Al? Up and down the cannery.
Elle's just got tins of beans, like pork and beans. Just
What? Nothing. Go away.
You can certainly make a start on doing that, and I think that spring weather quickly. It's great for around the island, around the homestead island. And once you try and get it over the water, like every morning you wake up and that bit of like string has fallen down, but you persevere. And that's something that he can learn his mistakes and like come back each time.
Maybe
and we can do a
like,
kind of
the bridge points from each island to the landmark on each island. So like you do have to go some distance, but you don't have to go the whole way to like shell someone.
shell someone. Cool, Mav.
Fuck, Clam Song is so funny. Really, that's incredible.
I think Mav spends a lot of time in the homestead again, much like the start of this adventure. But instead of being essentially an agoraphobe at the start of the adventure, he's actually starting to turn over a new leaf. He's spending a lot of time in the library looking up ways to kind of like methods of joinery and methods of like bricklaying, and like he's essentially like cramming as much. He's realized that they're living in a fucking shell of a house, and has gone, you know what, actually I want to start paying it forwards. I want to continue to pay it forward. So using this new spell that you've very kindly given me, I think his sort of daily routine is spending a bit of time in the library reading up on sort of the actual methods that it would ordinarily take, using this new spell, which essentially gives a proficiency that ordinarily you wouldn't get for an amount of time.
Yeah.
And then using that proficiency to kind of then cast Fabricate with the knowledge of how to just imagine him in jorts and Timberlands, and that's basically his
fucking white socks pulled up as like way too tight, but they're still only halfway up the calf.
Yeah.
And they are like
you best believe that I'm angling for some fan art of this. So yeah, and he's in the next week. He probably won't get much further than this, but he makes a real start at fortifying the house again, at sort of rebuilding and redecorating, and like trying to sort of breathe some new life into this. What is
you can make a gazebo out of the crashed ship sails.
Heck yeah, out of Hessian. No, so yeah, and I think that's sort of genuinely kind of what takes most of his day. He goes sort of for routine little kind of pops up to the lighthouse, but to be honest, he's a little bit. I think I'm feeling a little bit kind of disenfranchised about the lighthouse at the moment. And then in the evenings, he spends a lot of time talking to the others and actually writing. He's really starting to write. He's starting to get a kind of taste for what he wants to write, and yeah, he spends a lot of time doing that.
Good. That is time. That's a lot of stuff packed into every day.
He's very busy, yeah.
From Oscar's perspective, he every day with the passing of like 10 days, all three of you will have noticed that each day he becomes taller and stronger, and he radiates with more power. And he frequently flies up over the island and disappears for hours at a time while you guys are working. And at the end of the 10 days, Mav, you are writing in the homestead, and he walks in, and he is now a different person to the one that you saw in that cage. Still with this mottled gray and white skin, still with one blue eye and one red eye, but his hair is longer and thicker. You can see muscles where there was ribs and bones. And he slams down triumphantly on the table a large blade, black metal, and this sort of organic looking almost like stone, but or like you know, the stone that sort of comes from lava, you know what I mean, like it's got that kind of organic shapes to it,
like obsidian.
And yeah, and he looks so proud of himself, and he says, "I found my blade."
I can't tell whether I'm scared or aroused right now.
Both.
No, you don't notice anything.
Now, is this can we converse with the man the 10-foot man who's just walked in and said, "I found my sword"?
Or is it just Mav there?
This is just at the moment. It's just Mav and Oscar. But it is the evening, so I'd say that at some point you guys will be like filtering in from your day's work.
I assume that's a good thing. You look happy.
For it is. And Maverick, do you have a moment to talk?
Of course. What can I do for you?
I wanted to admit something to you.
Oh, do tell.
I wanted the story I first told you of myself. Maybe a little bit of a stretch of the truth.
Okay.
I am, of course, an angel. And I was born of Tish and his passion. And I did have to leave. I exposed Elska's betrayal. I know why she hates me. She was fraternizing with somebody on the other side, and I exposed it, and her lover were separated. She has hated me ever since. I know now, clearer than I have before, that I'm not actually welcome home, so I cannot return.
Okay.
You see, indulge me a moment. Angels used to be formed from clay and ambrosia by the gods. They could not form their own opinions. They did not have feelings. They fought like golems in the wars. They did whatever they were required to and had no opinions of their own. But Tish discovered that he could create angels who had feelings, who had emotions, who had opinions, and who would fight with passion and fight harder and longer than those that did not care and did not feel. And so my generation of angels were born, and we were better. And the war was beginning to tip in our favor. But with all of that came free will. And Tish didn't like that very much. He didn't like that I had opinions about what he did. Panlar might well have found out how to create angels in this way. And so now all angels are made with emotions and opinions. When he discovered that I did not see the war in black and white, and I had a questioning mind, he decided to, well, he was angry with me, and I decided to hide in the material plane. Hide from his wrath. So I took on mortal form. I hid here, and I moved, and I traveled, and I experienced everything. It really is quite fun. It's fun here. It's fun. The Feywild, my God. If you ever get a chance to go, the wine is beyond.
Sounds marvelous.
And I lived for many years. I had not really understood how far I'd fallen from grace until one of my female lovers bore a child of mine that was not an Asimar. But was a tiefling. I tried to undo what I had done. I tried to return to a place where time is not linear. I tried to reverse it. And that is when Elska took advantage of my weakness. She prevented me from reining back time by some amount. I wanted to go back to a time when I was divine and pure, and she wouldn't allow it. And she hid me here. It was her way of trying to gain favor with Tish, after all. I am most hated by him. So you see, I have nowhere to go. Fallen angels often go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. It's full of hierarchy and rules and contracts, and I don't like it. And I'm not welcome in heaven. So I think I'll stay here. And you see, I think I could form something quite interesting using the magic on the island. And perhaps if you were to go out and find some people who might be interested in worshipping me, we could do something incredible here. Right, son?
First of all, put on some fucking clothes, and let me just give me 2 seconds, please. And I just sort of pop out onto the balcony and just throw up over the side. Just
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'll be right with you. Ooh.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to do when you started making jokes like that.
Oh god.
Sorry, what was that you were saying?
If you're unwell, do take a moment. I realize I've just told you.
I mean, sure, we could talk about that. Can you give me? Can you give me just one night, please? Just to collect my thoughts. I'm going for a walk.
I'll give you time and space. I'm going to stay on another island.
Yes, good. See you later, Father.
He takes he takes the sword and he leaves.
And I go. I just go down to the beach, take off all of my clothes, and just sort of lie in the sea for a bit. And that's my night.
Cool. Well, listen, on that bombshell, which I've honestly we can pick up next time. Unless there's anything that anyone wants to add at this point.
For anyone who wants to get caught up, the guy that resurrected Al and also Mav was like flirting with the ideas of got super buff, found a big sword, and revealed the fact that he's actually Mav's dad. From fallen angel to horned maverick, eh?
Title of the next book.
I mean, not in his traditional style. Christ, what a journey, guys! I was dead earlier.
Yeah, guys, this was a lot in this episode. This was a huge episode, and I'm very grateful. Tom, we obviously need to have some conversations.
Yeah.
All I can do is apologize up front. This was a story that was written a long time ago, and when you started being attracted to him, I honestly didn't know what to do. So all I can do is say I'm so fucking sorry.
It's the most Mav.
I went to a deserted island. There was nobody else there.
Yeah.
The one person I wanted to fuck turned out to be my father. What the ever-loving shit is this?
Listen, we're a Norfolk-based TTRPG stream, and you know we like to.
In the family? What are you saying?
Tom needs to process as well as
Tom needs to process.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much, Podcast That Game, for rating us at the party of 41. As Moria, the Maharisha 66 and KitKat 485, thank you all for following. Those of you who have stayed just to watch off the back of that, thank you so much. It means a tremendous amount.
Thank you.
If you've liked what you've seen, we do this weekly. We also play Dragon Age on every Thursday.
And if you want to catch up, it's all on YouTube.
It's all on YouTube, guys.
Pop them in the chat.
And we also have a Discord. We have a Discord where we talk TTRPGs and all sorts of other stuff. It's just a really wonderful bunch of people. If you want to follow, if you want to join the Discord, please do. It's not all about having...
No, this is unusual.
This is unusual.
It's very unusual. Some Other Heroes. Every other Tuesday and every other Sunday. So next Tuesday they're doing Wild Beyond the Witchlight. It's gone off the rails.
Oh, nothing's working.
Oh wow.
Do we to fluff?
It's why is nothing working?
I don't know why nothing's working.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you,
Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Follow us on Twitter at RPG, Instagram, same thing. Goodness. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the commands. I'll take a look at it. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for just hanging around, even if you've just sort of had us on in the background.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night, and 3 p.m.
Tomorrow.
BST tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dragon Age GMT, not BST. I'm wishful thinking. I really am. Wicked Slice.
Also remember Wicked Slice.
We did a whole series. It's now being edited into podcast. Wicked Slice. Just search Dice and Day Slice on whatever podcatcher you use.
Yeah.
Bye.
Big love, everyone. Bye.
Bye.